Hey guys, Eli here. I'm going to dive into the details of my most recent ArmCare Strength and Range of Motion assessment. But before I do that, I want to touch on three things. So the first thing I want to touch on is data points. You want as many data points as possible, preferably spread out over a longer period of time to make an accurate assessment. In other words, the more ArmCare Strength and Range of Motion assessments that you take, the better your understanding of your actual arm strength and health is going to be. I made my decision to delay progression in the velocity development program based on my first ArmCare Strength and Range of Motion assessment. I still hold firm on that decision, but it wasn't the most educated decision. Wasn't a bad decision. I was erring on the side of caution. I saw some red flags, and I still need more data points, but the results from my most recent assessment are very promising. Second thing I want to touch on is taking these assessments as a new process. Within a new process, there's a learning curve. It's going to take you a few times to understand how to take these assessments properly, positioning your body right against the wall, getting your arm up at the right height to create so your elbow is level with your scap. You're likely going to mess a few of these assessments up. So take that into consideration. Third thing I want to touch on is when you take these assessments. The first assessment I took was on a Friday at the end of the week after I had thrown all week, lifted all week, completed multiple warm-up and recovery sessions. My arm was a little fatigued. My most recent assessment I took the day immediately after my day off. Moving forward, I'm going to make sure to take all assessments the day immediately after my day off to create consistency. So those are 3 points that I wanted to bring up. Now I'll dive into the results of my recent assessment. I'll give you a high-level overview and then jump into the report card and break it down on a more detailed level. So internal rotation strength was strong. External rotation strength was strong. My ER-IR ratio is still imbalanced. I need to increase my ER strength. Scaption strength strong. Jumping over to range of motion. Total arc of motion normal. Flexion normal. Now let me jump into the report card. Before I jump into the actual report card, there is a calendar icon up here in the top right that allows you to select which report card you want to view. You'll notice there's 2 report cards for October 4th. The one that's highlighted is my post-throwing report card, so it's the assessment I took after I threw. The one below it with the same date is the assessment I took before I threw, so my pre-throwing report card for that day. So let me jump into external rotation strength. Internal rotation strength. My IR yesterday was in the 81st percentile compared to professional athletes in my age group. That's great. That's really good. Down here at the bottom, you see rep 1, rep 2. For every exercise you have 2 reps. So you're going to perform your IR strength test 2 times. The actual assessment's like 3 to 5 seconds, and then there's a 10-second break and you do it again. So you have 2 reps. Let me jump over to trend. You see these trends. I'm starting to get more data sets, which is good. Down here at the bottom, it has your peak force and time to peak, your latest, your most recent, your average, and your best. My most recent or my latest was 54.5. My best is 54.5. My average is 47.6. This is over a 5 exam average. So this performance period, you can select this drop down or click this drop down and select the period you want to see the average of or average from. I only have 3 exams, so I'm going to select the 5 exam average, but you can go a month, 2 months, 4 months, 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, or customize it. So I'm going to go 5 exams. And if you jump over to benchmark, my best from yesterday was really good. It outperformed professionals in my age group, professional athletes in my age group. My average, however, again, go back and look at my average, 47.6. That's a little lower. That's about middle of the road for professionals in my age group. I believe my 54 is more accurate because I'm starting to get more comfortable taking these assessments. However, I need a few more data points to prove this theory. But 54 from yesterday, very good. Jumping back to the report card, external rotation strength, I was in the 78th percentile. My trends, my best, 46.9. My average, 43.7. My latest, 46.4. Go over to the benchmark. I'm at a 46. Professionals go up to 48. Again, I need to improve this a little bit. I need to improve this. I have room for improvement in terms of strength compared to my peers. And it will also help balance out my ER-IR ratio. So jumping over to that, my ER-IR ratio, as you can see, my internal rotation strength is a little bit more than my external rotation strength. Again, need to balance that out. Jump over to trend. My latest is 0.85. My average is 0.92. My average is acceptable. Professionals is 0.94. My average is 0.92. I'm not quite sure which one is more accurate here, my average or my best. Again, need a few more data points, but 0.85 isn't terribly far off. Still need some improvement. Still need to improve that ER strength, that external rotation strength. Scaption, I was in the 99th percentile for professional athletes in my age group. Really, really good. Jump over to trend, best 36.9, average 33.4. Jump over to benchmark. My average and my best from yesterday are at the top level of performance in terms of professional athletes in my age group. And finally, shoulder rotation, 74 degrees IR, 106 degrees ER. You can look at my trend. IR 74, 69, 74, ER 106, 108, 103. Pretty consistent. My total T-arc, my total arc of motion is normal. So I'm good on my shoulder rotation. And then flexion, there's not a hyperlink here to click on flexion, but my flexion is normal. So that is a breakdown of my most recent strength and range of motion assessment and some key points to remember. To recap those key points, more data sets over a longer period of time is better. Number one. Number two, it's going to take you a little while to get comfortable taking these assessments. And number three, take the assessments on similar days. So if you take it the day after your off day 1 week, make sure you take it the day after your off day the next week. So that is it. As always, appreciate your time, and I look forward to chatting with you guys again soon.